Hello. Welcome to Data Pe Charcha show with Sumit. Today, I'm super excited to have all the conversation which I'm going to have today. Conversation about data, conversation about dashboarding, conversation about story. Joining us today is a dynamic person, I would say. His name is Siddhant, and today he will be sharing his thought process, his vision behind dashboarding thing. So Siddhant, welcome to the show.
Hey Sumit.
How are you feeling today, Siddhant?
Good. It's the weekend. So thank you for having me. And let me say this is a great initiative you have going on over here. And from what I understand, I definitely hope this helps a lot of people who are already in the data world or planning to get into the data with.
Yep. Thank you, Siddhant. So yeah, basically that was the thought process behind it. So oftentimes we do spend time in building dashboards, but I was like, let's build some platform where we can share our story related to our data, our dashboard. And I've seen your profile, I've seen your work on community, and I was completely impressed by the way you have worked. And I was like, let's connect with Siddhant bhai ke saath mein connect karte hain, and let's do it. So was wahi tha, all in my mind.
Yeah, and thank you for reaching out. I was very surprised when you did because I'm also pretty new to this, as you see my profile. But as you explained, this is something that for all and everyone, and it's not necessary. It's more of about the journey than the
Correct.
kind of you've done and the kind of recognition you receive.
Yep.
So, do you want me to start off?
Yeah. So before that, help us to understand, Siddhant, about little bit about your story, about your background, about your educational background, and where are you right now, and everything, anything like as a person, where are you today? So just tell us about something about yourself.
Sure. Let me start with a brief introduction. So my name is Siddhant Shetty.
Yep.
Currently, I am residing in Pune and also been here since, born and brought up in Pune. I am working at Red Hat, same location, and I'm working as a financial analyst over here. So when we talk about education, again, bachelor's Pune in information technology, Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, and then I did my master's from Oklahoma State University in management information systems.
Okay.
Right after that, I have worked in Cognizant Technology Solutions for a couple of years as a programmer, then a senior sales and performance analyst in ADT for a year. And that's when I decided to move back to India, and that's where I got the offer from Red Hat. And since then, it's been almost 2 years now that I've been in Red Hat as a financial analyst. Now, in all these companies, when we discussed that, a lot of tools I've used, so it varied in SaaS depending on what the budget is, and sometimes R, now like Python a bit, SQL, and it has gone down to even Excel. So visualization, what I've learned is over the companies, is visualization can be done in any tool. It depends on what your team prefers, what your company prefers, what they are, what their choice of weapon is that they want to use. So sometimes they say Tableau and sometimes they say Power BI, both are powerful. And sometimes there are people, executives, they are saying Excel. So all three powerful tools for visualization doesn't matter. Matters is you start, adjusting. So that's my brief profile.
Cool. Thank you, Siddhant. Thank you so much for that. And I really like the word which you have used. That was like so. It's like a weapon, right? And it completely depends on what way you want to achieve your end goal. So if you're building something which is like more of a tabular, so it makes sense to go with Excel. And again, it varies from companies to companies. So completely agree with you. So Siddhant, in this show, basically, I also wanted to request you to provide us some example about your visuals. Okay, basically we are interested to understand what was your thought process behind building that visual. um, what was the business question you are trying to answer from that question. So if you can share your screen, and maybe if you can walk us through, let's say maybe something which is very raw, which you have built in very somewhere around like 2 years, 3 years down the line, and then and of course about your InViz. I've seen your InViz, so if you can share some insights from those with, so that will be really great for our audience.
Sure. Let me just log in here first. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Give me a minute. Share.
Cool. So guys, Siddhant and me both are like part of one of the Tableau user group on WhatsApp for Pune, and basically there have seen his InViz entry, and it will be really a treat for us by looking at his entry. So it's very awesome, I would say, and at the same time you can clearly see story from that. So let's wait for him to share his screen, and then we can get started from there.
So just sharing right now. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Sure, man.
Let me know when you can see it.
Yep. I can see your screen.
Okay. So basically, Tableau journey definitely did not start from Tableau Public or working in the community or something. Most of the work is done in the company. End user requirements, stakeholder requirements, company requirements. Everything was company based, and I wasn't spending any time other than the hours I spend in the company on any of this.
Okay.
And afterwards, I connected with a couple of people in the company, and we had some associates that moved from Tableau to my current company, and that's where I heard about Makeover Mondays and Tableau public dashboards and people out giving reviews of the dashboard, helping to create dashboards, and InViz, InQuest. So that's when I decided to log in, and there's one thing I noticed. The first thing I noticed was there is a whole page in Tableau Public for visualized interactive resumes.
Yep.
So what Tableau has done has selected the top best resumes created in Tableau, and they have showcased it over there, which was pretty impressive, because if you think about it, we all know this thing when we are applying for a job, and in colleges, in our MBAs, we've been told that the maximum amount of time spent on a resume is what, 15 seconds.
Yep.
Right?
True.
So,
yep.
Does this make sense? When you give a link to a Tableau dashboard, they are pretty much spending a lot more time just playing around with it. If that catches their eye, they are like hovering over stuff. Now, if this is the first public dashboard I created.
Okay.
So please excuse the design, the color, everything is horrible, and I know this because this is my first one. I'm seeing so many mistakes right now. I mean, the map itself looks pretty bad because I didn't know how to change the background of the map back then. So, but yeah, I did some basic stuff. This was the first resume, a lot of edits. Trust me, there's like so many drafts created. I didn't know how to create lines. I didn't know how to create put in images in a tooltip. So, but this was my final product, and then I decided not to spend any more time on this and start working on something else.
Okay.
So, a couple of things, like let's say HR or not even HR, a hiring manager is mostly the one who will open this, and he'll just start hovering, and he'll see like I've added my degree in the tooltip. So if you change it from masters to bachelor's, it will change to Vishwakarma Institute of Technology courses. you can hover over it and you can see the degree for the BE degree I have.
Wow.
You can hover over the jobs over here, and it will give you a description. Now that I think about it, that nobody's reading that. So I need to shorten that into just 2-3 lines, as in what I honestly like, the main things, and not the whole thing. Here I put in like 2 jobs because I had a promotion, so I need to make it one and show probably a timeline in the tooltip. And if you see over here, this graph doesn't even make sense. It's like, even I don't know why I made this. It's probably I think I was trying to show the number of years of experience I have in it.
Okay.
But I should have added a tooltip or a text card or a mark over here, which I didn't.
Okay.
And I've added certificates over here, which are not even visible. So I did not know that the tooltip can be sized based on your sheet.
Okay.
Too many tooltips, too many images, too many logos. I was scared to assign or reload shapes, because whenever I did, it changed everything. So I added recommendations from LinkedIn. So as you can see, it just takes the whole page. So that is something I should have changed. And then you can see I've assigned shapes, and you can see CA Technologies is here twice. So pretty clear mistakes you can see, which, like, for a company that is looking for someone with a year or a year and a half of experience in Tableau, would be like, yeah, sure, I mean, this is good enough. But if you go for bigger companies with teams looking for people with big experience, they'll be like, we are already seeing the mistakes. If this is his dashboard, this cannot be presented to the leadership. Definitely, So you can add a link. I've added a link, mail, and a mobile number. So this was my first dashboard, and then came in Makeover Monday. That got my interest. There was the Workout Wednesday. Then Iron Viz was always on my mind.
Okay.
I've seen the examples and I've seen the gallery. It's pretty. They were pretty impressive, very big. That kind of scares you a bit, and pulls you down confidence-wise. But this year I decided to submit one, which honestly you just submit it and you get used to it, and then you are like, okay, now I'm going to do this every year. I don't care. So you just have to submit it once. And you do get reviews. Sumit reached out to me because of that. So that gives you some different level of confidence. So next year I'm going to do better, bigger, and a better storyline, and better design. So that was this thing, and I can
so before even so before even going there, so let me tell you something about visual resume which you have just shown us. So considering that this was your first visual, I'm telling you, this is really awesome work. Okay, because you already know what should be the flow of your resume. You have started sharing your education section at one left hand side, and then everything about your professional journey on other side of the page. So that is really nice. And at the same time, you have mentioned that there were like couple of mistakes. So I think that is fine. Like, that's how we learn. We learn from our own mistake. And the more and more mistake we do, the more and more better version of ourselves will become in our next visuals. And that's something which was really I've seen in your Iron Viz entry, and that's where I was impressed with your work, and that's how it worked. But again, considering this interactive resume, this is awesome. I've seen you have used PNG as a transparent image for Cognizant, and Red Hat, and all those icons are there.
It took me a while to find that out. So
yep. I know, like it's like pain in a butt basically, like to find PNG image, or if you have to build PNG image, so it takes like a hell amount of time. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Siddhant, this thing with us. Thank you. Yep. Moving next, we can quickly have a quick glance of your Iron Viz as well. Yep. Over to you, man.
Let me just see. So, so this how it started was I think the submission last date was 5th or 14th, I can't remember, August 14th or something for IronViz.
I guess
And
fourth was the last date. I guess 4th August
yeah,
or something like that. Yep. Okay.
So in July, I started seeing some submissions for IronViz. So I'm like, okay, let's go into the website and see what criteria are and what the rules and regulations are and what is it or anyway. So basically, they give a topic and you have to build on it. And you can build anything. There's no rules and there's no regulations. It's just it's a topic about health. I think it's health and wellness, and that's it. Health and wellness, and do anything you want. Anything related to that. How the closer you come, the better, and the more your storyline is better explaining that topic.
Okay.
So I was just then browsing around into data, and I found this, and I thought this is a good topic that can be discussed. So I read about it, got many articles, went through it, as in what it means, what it really is, because first thing you don't want to do is give the wrong information. The moment you give wrong information, your whiz is out. Your information has to be right. It has to be fact checked. So I did that, and then I created a story, as in first explain how bad the situation is. So first explain what they're doing. So this trap laws and what. So you can see first let's start with understanding what trap is. So here's the explanation of what is going on. Here below the graphs is what it's showing, as in how bad it is. How bad it. I think it's. Refresh. Okay. How bad it is. Okay. So this shows how much time does it take to get to abortion clinic, how far it is, how difficult it is. It's not just about how many legal clinics are there or what the law states. It's about even if you're legalizing it, even if you're making it legal in states, how difficult is it for people to get over there?
Okay.
So the second part of the story is how bad it is. It's not as simple as go and get an abortion. There are rules also with that. There are regulations, there are standards that the government is enforcing for them to have. So there are clinics that say that after 12 weeks we will not do an abortion, or there's just going to be medication abortion in this clinic, which is closer to you. But if you want abortion after or before 20 weeks, you have to go to somewhere that is 9 hours away. You have to go to a clinic.
Okay.
And it doesn't happen quickly. There are laws you have to go through counseling first.
Okay.
And then they will, you have to sign documentation. So it's not like a couple of hours kind of a thing where you go and, it's not like getting a license.
Exactly.
So it's 2 to 3 days. You're gone. There are literally there are travel agencies that charge money for this service, the pick and drop and the hotels and everything to go and forth.
Okay.
So it just and in the end it's more of so in the end I just wanted to add something which says that it looks like the whole world is against you, but there are people and there are communities and there are states, there are political people who are fighting for your rights. And that is the last part of the dashboard, where you can see I've given multiple things that people are currently working on. So you can just click on them and it will show you what people are doing, what kind of laws are being enforced in different states, in different what governors are being involved in this. And it's just the ending was a bit of it's not all bad. So this was the annual submission. To be quite honest with myself, I have seen many submissions after this, and Sumit, not even close. To the brilliant submissions. Very impressed. If they give a download option, I just download all of them and I just track them. It's just impressive and beautiful dashboards.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Yes, there. So this year I have seen there was a complete in most of the entry there was a blend of two things, mostly Adobe XD / Figma. They have used
Yes.
Figma
Yes.
and Adobe XD for getting those neomorphism kind of a thing. Like even you have used like that box, um, rounded box with shadow. Yeah, so that is something called as neomorphism effect. So I've seen people have started using. So again, they are not just bounded to Tableau as a thing. So they're exploring more what is happening, what other things we can integrate with it. Even I have seen there were a couple of entries in which they didn't use any let's say Figma or Adobe XD. Simple, they were using PowerPoint, and they have created all their images boxes in the PowerPoint. So yeah, I have to agree with you. Yes, there was a couple of good entries as well.
There is one design where I actually first started using PowerPoint. I was just taking images from other stuff.
Okay.
But this is the first time I saw someone using it.
Achha.
And if you see this whole tank, the pump is made in PowerPoint.
Wow. Okay.
All of this, like the shadows and all, everything,
including shadow as well.
Everything
okay.
can be created in PowerPoint. These are just boxes and nothing else.
Okay. Wow.
So if you hover, and I put like the screen in here above the PowerPoint image, so you can see the prices during this thing and the date you're doing. So all of this can be created in PowerPoint. You don't need to know Adobe or Figma or big designs. You can make everything in PowerPoint.
Wow. So help us to understand, like, typically how much time it took for you, like, to build these boxes. Say for example, one box which is there, like a petrol box, approximate like 30 minutes, 1 hour. What was the approximate time you have taken?
So this is the first time, like I said, I was using it. So this took me a while, but once you start using it and once you get an idea of all the shapes that are there, the moment the topic is released for Maker Monday on Sunday evening, immediately your brain starts to start clicking. Okay, this I can create over here. This I can create over here. This can be created in PowerPoint. This can be created in Figma. I'm going to give it a neomorphism thing over here concept, because every time you have to think of something different, because every time you cannot be creating a line chart or a bar graph or a scatter plot. You have to, design wise, you go different every time. Now let me share this, is that honestly, designing wise, I work and try to follow the community. But where jobs are concerned, I don't think designing is at the topmost priority for a lot of companies. I would say majority companies already have their design. They do not want you designing anything related to a company dashboard that is shared with their corporate, with their leadership, with their end users.
Yep.
So most companies already have their predefined templates, their logos, the colors you will be using, which will be the company colors, of course, the fonts you will be using. So every company also have their predefined fonts in Tableau, Excel, any other tool that is designing tool. The company has their own fonts.
Yep.
So select that. Don't try to use anything fancy because it will not work. We have not put that in the Tableau server. You make anything fancy, it's not going into the company Tableau server. So
correct.
You're not spending a lot of time in designing. What the most time spent from my end is visualization, analytics, and making sure the data is correct.
Okay.
Data is right, it's updated, bridges are updated every day. You're spending time on that. If you're sharing a dashboard with the leadership, you're talking about corporate business stakeholders, then yes, you need some kind of designing just to make it look. But I'm in finance, and mostly they just need a good view of the numbers.
Okay.
Larger font, white background, black numbers. That's it. Maybe make it bold. We don't know. That's up to you. But it has to be clear. It has to be clean. Don't make complicated stuff. Do not make spiral charts, and definitely do not give us.
Okay. So I think
definitely do not give us a map.
Yeah. I think it's a same story in all organizations. So not only with organization in which you're working, It's same across all organizations, because these people are more focused towards data, and they quickly wanted to understand something from your dashboard, right? Because the moment, let's say, if you're building something which is very complex, which is very wow, and which is visually appealing, but somehow if it is taking time to process, like to consume that data in their mind, if it is taking time, so that's something which is like a red alarm for us. So we need to be in your in their shoes, understand to what extent they can understand, and accordingly we have to act. So yes, well said. Yep. So in terms of community project, I would say yes, it is at a times it is fine to explore different charts, different things, because you never know, even there would be some point, you'll have some requirement from, let's say, infographic point of view or some newsletter point of view. So maybe this experience would help you. And so for community project, it's good that you should explore, but again, when it comes to the business, we should focus more on the data side and explaining story behind it, right?
Correct. Yeah. And mainly, like when you're doing designing, so when you're bringing in Figma and fancy designs and big charts and getting in parts, putting in calculations and stuff, one time for Tableau Public to showcase your profile, it's pretty awesome. So please do that. Understand, push the limits for Tableau, and start thinking in a different, out of the box. But for example, let's say I create a dashboard in my company, from my company, and I put in all these features, right? I put in all these features. I put in this, that. I put in actions. I put in neomorphism, create the back page and everything.
Yep.
Pretty fancy, yeah? One dashboard, everyone's like, yeah, very good. Yeah, you have to make 15 more dashboards like these.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it was more of like you thought that we were done, right? No, we weren't. This is just one section.
Okay.
Wise, and then you have to do geo-wise. Now that you have added the function, you can't back off. You can't tell them, oh, I added for the first page. Others are pretty simple and plain. Okay. No, now you add the function for all of them. So,
Yep, makes sense.
Try keeping it simple and easy so that tomorrow it keeps changing. There is nothing constant in the corporate world. It will keep changing. Technology keeps changing. Business needs keep changing. Everything changes. So your dashboards will always keep changing. So simple font, normal font, use the Tableau, basic Tableau font.
Okay.
Or whatever company has decided for you. Do not use fancy fonts. It will just get difficult. Do not go for colors, because then you're spending hours just selecting a color. And then that color should match everything.
Correct.
Let's say you select a background for green with green shade, and let's say your stakeholder throws a conditional formatting at you, where good is green, bad is red, and middle is blue. Your green. Then again, you have to change your background to match those conditional formats. So keep it plain, keep it white, maybe give it a dark background. That's also fine. You can do both. So yeah, that's pretty much what they care about is parameters, dynamic parameters, actions, calculated fields, calculate sets, groups, dates, mainly dates. That's pretty much that they care about, nothing else.
Yep. Yeah, I'll agree with you. They care about this thing. Yep. Cool.
So I just want to add, like, if you are really interested in getting this, one thing that I made it a habit in my day-to-day is when I log in the morning, it's like clockwork. Exactly at 8:30, we get an email from Tableau Public regarding the whiz of the day.
Correct. Okay.
I spend at least 30 minutes after login exploring that whiz of the day.
On daily basis. That's what they have.
Daily basis.
Right? Wow.
Every day comes.
Amazing.
So you don't want to log in and immediately get into emails. That's like, you need to sit down and settle down for a bit, let your mind calm down, and before you, get into the whole chaos of your day. So I just opened up the Tableau Public, look at the dashboard, see who created it, follow his other dashboards, see what he's creating, how has he been, how did he create, how many dashboards has he created, how long has he been in the community, does he have blogs, 30 minutes spend on that, and then get back to work.
It's like, yeah, it's like a habit, and that's how even by looking at their mindset you can learn something from it. I just recall one thing. So I almost like 2 years ago I was having like conversation with one of my friend. His name is Ashish Chaudhary, and he was like, the moment when I get into my office, the first thing I will do is I will log into community forum. I'll look at the questions and I'll try to answer at least one question a day. Okay. And he had a vision behind it. So basically he was like, I have to work on more complex things, more logical things, and community forums are as good as your live examples, right? Like solving their problem would definitely help you to build your logical thinking more clear. So yes, just wanted to recall this thing. So even checking community forum and the questions which are available there, and just trying to answer those questions, even that would help to build good portfolio as well.
That is actually an excellent habit to do that. And now the community forums have grown so much. Let it be R, Python, Tableau. It's like you literally have an issue with your work, you type in those exact words, and that exact same question someone has already posted. And the answer is ready for you. I'm not even saying like put the right keywords or something. That exact same question, what you're thinking, somebody has posted.
Yep. Yeah, I am aware about this. So cool. Yep. Thank you for sharing both the visits, like your resume and your first viz, and again then coming back to on your INViz. And again, all the best for your INViz, because it's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, not even close.
Yeah, that's fine. But I like the in terms of story. Correct. In terms of story, that was really awesome. Okay, so just getting back and wanted to understand. See again, think from someone who is in his last year of education, maybe MCA, maybe Master of Engineering or Bachelor of Engineering, or fresher for that purpose, right? And if he has to start career similar to what you're doing today, what advice would you give to him or her? So that's what question I mostly get from the student who wanted to get into data visualization, into business intelligence stuff. How they can use this period, especially this COVID period, to build their portfolio, and what advice would you give to them?
So I would say first, figure out the technology you want. You cannot do all of it. At least when you are in college. Once you get into the company, once you are in there, then you're going to come across all the tools possible. Like there are so many teams out there to help you in there. But first, like for your basic, you should like just browse through it, get a brief idea of what it is, what it does, get the architecture. But let's say this is like an overview, of course, but giving Tableau as an example, like I said, Makeo Monday, you just have to register, the Viz of the day, register, you'll get an email every day, look at it, go through it. There are so many people in the community in Tableau. You can add them on LinkedIn, and they are posting so much there. And if you are a Twitter fan of Twitter and you're there a lot of times, follow them on Twitter, and they post their dashboards like almost every week. They have a new dashboard over there. They post their blogs, so you can go through that.
Okay.
So there are so many people who got their jobs with these connects. So let's say when you publish a dashboard on LinkedIn and Twitter, people are following you now.
Okay.
And that is pretty much you're clearing the first round of interview. It's like, oh, you already know how to do this, right? So you already like published a dashboard, so we are not going to ask you basic questions as in how to connect to Microsoft Excel using Tableau. So we are not going to start from there. We are just going to go to an advanced level of interview for you. So if you're graduating, that's good enough for any company. That you know how to open Tableau, you know how to visualize, you know how to create a calculated field, sets, parameters, you're good. Rest we'll teach you, not a problem. So I would advise, that would be my advice. Start small, start looking at other people's work. In fact, during this period in COVID-19, I've seen so many people post their scripts and codes on LinkedIn. just the whole script. They have just shared the link, like, facial recognition scripts, sentiment analysis, text searches. They are just posting their script. Take that script, put it on your machine and backtrack it, as in how they wrote it, what are the functions, Google those functions, understand the meaning. If you're one of those people who don't like to start from scratch, what it is, you can start from there.
Yep. Makes sense. So one thing which you talked about is like building portfolio and following basically people who are already working in that industry, like let's say into the visualization as a field or business intelligence as a field, and following them, working on your own visuals and posting them on LinkedIn / let's say Twitter, and then that's how you can grow your network. And at the same time, that's how you already cleared your first round. Like you will directly get a call saying that, okay, so this is what the opening we have. I think that is really working for most of the folks. I have seen like I remember like in 2013 when I was in college, I didn't even knew about this thing, like there is something called as networking, or there is something called as LinkedIn. What all I know is there was a guy like there is only a Facebook kind of a thing, and only that's for friend and everything. But LinkedIn is really powerful. That's I can see, I have seen results from LinkedIn as well. So having LinkedIn profile, even if you're in college, definitely it is going to help you. So that's very, very true.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool, Siddhant. It was. Thank you so much for sharing everything from your side, from your visual side, thought process behind it, starting from your resume to your iInvis entry. It was really nice to see your journey. As I said, like I was really impressed by looking. I was really impressed by looking at your work, and really wanted to learn more things for you. Looking forward to see more and more visualizations from your side, so that like we can follow you, and again we can learn from your visuals as well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything which you have done for the community.
No problem, and definitely thank you for having me, and I will be looking forward to your initiative, and best of luck with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yep. Thank you.